What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Got OG Freeze on today, man. Brother did over 20 years in the federal penitentiary, been through some things, did some things. This is a type of dude, I can tell you right now, when you hear other people talking about prison stories, this is the dude that they're talking about. This is the dude that really lived it. But anyway, OG Freeze, man, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and let's talk about you.
Man, what's going on, man? My name OG Freeze. For y'all don't know, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And like you said, man, I did 21 years straight in federal penitentiary. I even did 3 years straight in the hole in the
3 years
shoe.
straight
So,
in the hole.
yep. And I
Talk
only been in
about,
like six
let's,
prisons.
let's talk about this, right? You end up doing a bunch of time. How much time were you originally sentenced to?
I was sentenced originally to 188 months. I was discharged me as an armed career criminal. That was back then when they was doing the career criminals for the guns and stuff like that. So I got armed career, and I ended up with 188 months. And I caught the extra 7 while I was in.
With 188 months, catch another 7 when you're in. But let's talk about what leads you to prison. You get caught with a gun. Is that in Atlanta?
Yes. What led me to prison was the first thing that led me to prison was it started out as a drug charge, a drug investigation. It was a night. I had I had a female with me. Uh, I ended up going. It was a female that I didn't want to know where I stayed, so I ended up taking her to one of our trap houses, what we call the trap house back then. So, but there's no drugs or nothing in there. Um, they end up busting the house because they had my homeboy on the wire making a sale. So he just wasn't there at the time. So when they bust in, they found the gun under the bed, on her side of the bed. My fingerprints wasn't on it, none of that. So when we get down, they go to talking about the drugs, and of course, hey, listen, man, y'all got me. I don't know nothing about no drugs. Y'all never got nothing from me, and things of that nature. So once they figured out that they weren't gonna mess with me, but that I wasn't gonna fold on telling, about the drug situation, that's when they implemented the gun into my situation. But it originally started out as a drug investigation. I was
So
charged
drug
with
investigation. You're in the ATL, right? Are you around when Big Meech and all them dudes are around, or no?
right, right. That was a little bit right before their era. They was here, but it was so much going on at that particular time in '02 and '01 that it went to after like the '02 era. That's when Meech really started taking off, and I was already in prison.
So what was that Atlanta drug scene like before Meech and all them showed up? I mean, dudes were still getting money, right?
You're right. It was a lot of dudes. It was a lot of dudes in Atlanta getting money. Uh, they just wasn't as the flamboyant, part. You know what I'm saying? But in Atlanta, at that particular time, Atlanta wasn't a drug hub. You know what I'm saying? Like it was after I went to prison. So at that particular time, you know what I'm saying, you had a few major players that was in the city, and everybody, in that era, that was like the crack, the phase out of the crack era. So everybody back then, there was a lot of money. The economy was going good. So you had a lot of dudes that was, like I said, that was getting money down here, and from different sides of town. It's just there was so many of us that we just wasn't as flamboyant. Like when Meech came, he came with a whole new campaign for dope boys. So he just took it to the next level as far as the stunt. You know what I'm saying? That's how that went.
Let's talk about this, right? How old are you at the time that you get arrested and you get 15 years, 8 months? You're going to prison. You're used to getting money. You're out there in the streets. How old are you at the time, and what's it like for you to get sentenced to that amount of time?
So at the time, in 2002, I was 25. So I was always one of those guys, what I'm saying, like a state baby. I always went to juvenile. I went to, I'm gonna say always went to jail, but I've been a juvenile a few times, and went to state. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them guys. I don't been in the system out a few times, so that was kind of made it like kind of not as hard as it would be for a person who goes to jail for the first time when they're 20 something years old versus a guy who's been in the juvenile system and been through the juvenile system and work your way up basically.
This is
So
a
that
better
was kind of like my life.
this is a better question, right? Because we could talk about, you were a state baby, went from the juvenile to the county jail, from the county jail to the state prison, from the state prison to the federal prison. But what's it like for a 24, 25-year-old young man to get 15 years? You look
Cool.
at your watch, you're like, damn, I'm going to be 40 when I get out of here.
At that particular time, yeah. When I heard the first offer was a 10. When I heard 10 years, I slept for a week. You know what I'm saying? Because 10 years, I'm used to, I'd have been to state, but it's like most I had did, 3, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? But 10, I just at that particular time, I couldn't fathom that. And so in your mind, you start to rationalize like, damn, they just brought these dudes back to testify against me. Man, let me go on and get that 10. So when I tell them to give me the 10, they said, no, it's 15 now. We're going to go on career for the gun. So we're going to charge him with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon while committing a drug trafficking crime by violating interstate commerce and or effective interstate commerce. Boom. So let me get the 15 then, because I didn't want to go to trial because I seen they had people that was going back against me, and I went on and took the 15 and I rationalized with myself like, hey, maybe it was meant for me because it's some stuff that I have got away with in the street, and maybe it all don't caught up to me. So you start trying to rationalize in your mind to prepare yourself to really do over a decade. So it's certain self talks that you have to have with yourself. Like, man, okay, I got 15. I'll be back, man, when I get out. But shit, some dudes, they got life. You start trying to, talk to yourself and gas yourself up and have that self talk with yourself to prepare yourself for prison. And being like I said, I have been through the juvenile system, through the state system, so it kind of like mentally prepared me to be a little more tougher and be able to deal with the consequences of my actions.
So not an easy pill to swallow, man. When you're talking about, man, I'm about to go take this 15 years, damn near 60.
Right. And you in that, but when you in the county and you hear the stories about the people offered him 10 and he went to trial and got life, them stories like that be laying around. Man, I could have got 2 years, man. I ended up with 40. So all these stories laying around also lead up to your decision making. Like, nah, I ain't trying to be like him. Like, he could have shit. They offered him 10. He went to trial, they gave him life. Damn. Nah, man, let me get that. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing that plays a part in it too. You know what I'm saying? Is your examples they're laying around
And those people down there in Georgia, a lot of different places, they won't have no problem giving a 25-year-old life, will they?
you. And not at all. Especially back then. Especially back then, they was passing out like candy. You know what I'm saying? They was passing them out like candy back then because you remember the crack ratio was different too. That was back before the crack law changed. So it was like 100 to 1 then, right? So just imagine all these examples laying around with this crack, you know what I'm saying? Laying around and the gun charges. A lot of times you was getting the gun then, it was 10, they was careering you. You know what I'm saying? So I was in an era where all the laws that's in effect now was not in effect.
Let's talk about this. So now, you're on your way to prison. You got your sentence. What's your first prison?
My first prison I was Edgefield, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? That was in Edgefield, South Carolina. It was a penitentiary. It had a wall around it. So anything with a wall around it, in the feds is considered a pen. But they dropped it because they had lied to the community. They told the people in the community they weren't building the penitentiary. So what happened was the people seen the wall and the people in the town campaigned against the federal BOP because y'all said y'all wasn't gonna build a prison here, a penitentiary. They got the town, so they dropped it and made it a medium high. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up staying because in medium high, Edgefield, South Carolina.
You're at Edgefield, man. What's Edgefield like? Not really, I mean, not too dangerous, right?
Nah, yeah, Edgefield wasn't that dangerous. Edgefield, but when you first come into the federal system, you not knowing how it goes, and you're gonna go in nervous. You went out, first, but at the same time, you're still in prison because you know what I'm saying. Like I said, going through the system, you still look at it as like you're still in prison, but you don't know that it gets worse. You know what I'm saying? You hear like that, and especially in the beginning of your journey, in the beginning of my journey. So the beginning of my journey, it started out Edgefield, South Carolina. It really wasn't that dangerous. It wasn't like going to Bloody Bull Mine back then.
You end up leaving Edgefield, though, right? Where do you go?
Right. I went from Edgefield. I went to Yazoo, Mississippi. Uh, Yazoo, Mississippi, FCI. And
Worst prison in the federal prison system right now. Dirty, dingy. The police are nasty.
but back
Everybody's
then,
nasty.
but back then, everybody wanted to get to Yazoo. Remember they was one of the ones that had the pool tables. You know what I'm saying? It was all black facility where they had a lot of women, all women. It was a majority women, you know what I'm saying, ran prison. So a lot of guys always want, man, I didn't get to, You know, Yazoo's one of those spots people wanted to get to. You know what I'm saying? They had the patio visit, all that. So that was one of the places where people wanted to go.
Let's talk about the all-black prison comment that you made, right?
Right.
I've been to prisons that are ran by all white folks. I've been to prisons that are ran by all black folks. And usually the all-black prisons are the prisons where the staff, they're not out there really harassing people. They're not doing a bunch of bullshit. A lot of them, unfortunately, just keeping it real, have some family members that might have been locked up before, and they kind of treat you a little bit better. But tell us what you meant by the black prison comment.
What I mean by the black prison is like it's majority like there to see a white staff member, it's gonna be two and few in between. You might see maybe a dentist, you know what I'm saying, or maybe one officer that's white, you know what I'm saying, or somebody in the kitchen.
Why you had to put the dentist on the white man, though, man? Come on, man.
But like you said, I'm just being, you know, we in Mississippi. So I was telling,
what it is. But go
yeah,
ahead.
that's what's going on. But at the same time, to be honest with you, like it'd be some times to where a lot of majority white facilities to be ran, they treat you way better too. You have sometimes that you get treated worse by your all black because it might be as far as the medical ain't gonna be up to par. You know what I'm saying? Everything has its pros and its cons when it comes to that. As we know in the prison system, unfortunately, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's gonna be more cleaner. You know what I'm saying? Like county jails. Certain county jails, Gwinnett is not, it's gonna be a different Gwinnett County Jail, it's gonna be different clean than Rice Street.
Ask you this about Yazoo, right? I mean, eventually you end up making it to the penitentiary. You make it to the big house. Why do you leave Yazoo?
I got caught with a quarter-pound of weed in Yazoo.
Quarter pound of weed in the penitentiary. I mean, back then that shit was unheard of. Now they're flying drones in. You know, you got
right.
making moves. But a quarter pound of weed is a lot of weed to have inside of a prison, right?
Right. I got caught with a quarter-pound of weed in Yazoo, and that was my first trip to the penitentiary after that.
Where do they find the weed at? Where are you hiding the weed at, man? Just curious. Where do you hide a quarter pound of weed at in federal prison?
Back then, you know, we used to have these soda cans and with the fake compartment on it. And I used to put you'll put the soda can on the thing with the rest of your soda, with the rest of the six pack, bam. And kind of like, you know, hide your stuff around like that at that particular time. But when I got caught with the quarter pound coming out of this, I was coming out of the visiting room. I was coming out of the visitation.
So you got the pack while you were on the visit.
While I'm on the visit. At that particular time, I had got the pack while I was on the visit. I had swallowed it like a quarter pound of weed. And somebody told on me, you know what I'm saying? Coming out of the visitation room, and I got dry sealed. You know what I'm saying? I got dry sealed. And shit, unfortunately I had to use the bathroom. It had to come out. And
because
yep.
Listen now, people are listening. They're like, you had one visitor bring you a quarter pound of weed. How does she get a quarter pound of weed in the visit? In her shirt, in her pants? I'm not going to ask you who the person. I mean, obviously you got knocked for
it. You
it.
know,
So
most of the times when you in these type of situations, you know, girls will put the stuff in there, you know, up their vagina and bring it in to you. You know what I'm saying? While you in the visitation room, and before you get up there, they'll prepare whatever they need to prepare for you and prepare your meal. You know what I'm saying, for you. And while you sitting up there having a conversation, you down on them like M&Ms, boop, or the person has some in their mouth and kiss you. You know what I'm saying? And pass it to you off a kiss. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, it's different ways that you know, when you become, it's like being you become a smuggler. Now you got to learn how to smuggle. So it's like it's different ways that I was doing it.
the ticket looking like the get back on a quarter pound of weed back then? I mean, what were you probably going to make off that? I know you know in your head. You're a hustler.
You know, back then, yeah, you making like, because you're selling in chapstick caps. It's 60 chapstick caps in an ounce of marijuana. It's 60 chapstick caps. So when you get back then, so you'll take $1,000 at that particular time, $1,000 an ounce in the FCI. That's FCI money. $1,000 an ounce.
$1,000 an ounce, and you got a quarter pound.
Right.
I mean, Were you trying to get lawyer money or just trying to get,
Just,
commissary?
you using this, getting commissary and take care of your family on the street. You know what I'm saying? Stacking your money up, pay your part of the rent, you know what I'm saying? Take care of your family, your kids or whatever. Or, some guys that was in there that with me that was unfortunate. So you get them hustles and put money on their book and, so they can try to do something for themselves and, try to be self-sufficient.
Now you end up getting knocked with the quarter pound. Now you're on your way to the federal penitentiary, maximum security prison. What prison are
Correct.
you going to?
Haste.
We done been around, man. Hazleton. What's Hazleton like when you show up?
Listen, you hear all the stories. As soon as when they say Hazelton, I'm like, damn. Okay, this is my first penitentiary. All right, let me go and get my mind ready. That's that self-talk again. You don't heard all the stories about Hazelton. It's on top of a mountain. It's in West Virginia. It's majority DC. It's DC backyard. So you're gonna be the minority when you get there. You know all the stories about the DC boys. You know how they push. So you getting all this in your mind because that's the first thing somebody tell you when you go to Hazelton. Damn, boy, you right in the backyard of them DC boys, boy. You know what's going on in Hazelton. And at that time, Hazelton was rocking and rolling.
You look like a pretty big dude. How big are you, bro?
Right now, probably I'm 6'1", like 275.
About the same, about 275 when you're on your way to Hazleton?
Yeah, by then I'm young, so I'm probably like 255, 265, between 260 and 265 back then.
So even being a big dude, you are a little bit worried about going to Hazel. You're leaving the FCI like, yo, this is shit I heard about.
This what I heard about. I'm still a little, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And my first day there, I watched somebody get stabbed in the face.
What
Right
happens?
off
What happens on that first day?
the first day, you know how you go in and you see your SIS screen you. At that particular time, I was registered as a GD, as a known GD. I had a few yards for the GDs so at that particular time, um, I'm getting into my bid, and I had gotten a few trouble when I got at Yazoo with him. I had a little incident to where I felt like, I'm 35 now. I'm gonna go on and try this thing like being a man instead of doing the organization thing because I had a falling out with my organization, but not a falling out to where it was a issue. They stole from me when I got caught with a quarter pound of weed. One of my guys had stole from me, so I was still in my feelings a little bit about that. You know what I'm saying? When I got to Hazen, I was fresh off an incident. You know how it is when you don't got into it with your organization, when you fresh on the yard at another spot, and I'm explaining, you know what I'm saying, to my guy, my paperwork clean. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing they teach you when I got there. When you got to Hazen, the first thing that the warden said was, listen, getting off this bus, if you testified against anybody or any type of law enforcement, do not go on my yard. If you go on my yard, these guys out here, they're gonna kill you. And if you haven't and if you are good, then the first thing you need to do is get you one of these. And he pulled his knife out. When you get to the yard, get you one of these. If you can stay, get you one of these as soon as you get there.
Who's
Right
the
then,
warden? Who was the warden? Was it O'Brien?
oh man, he came from O'Brien. Coffee in his hand, cup of coffee. And back then, Hazelton was the yard. All winners stay. If you're the winner, you stay on the yard. All losers leave.
So if you get stabbed at Hazleton, you're leaving because you got stabbed, and the winner, the guy who did the stabbing, he gets to come back on the
He
yard.
gets to come back to the yard. He gets to come to the yard. That's the kind of yard that was. So all winners is on this yard. All aggressors.
So you get over there, you start explaining to some of the homies what your situation is. I mean, are you a GD? Do they embrace you as a GD, or are you just kind of doing your own
The
thing?
GD guys still embrace me. I was able to retire because of my age, but I didn't I had no bad rep on my name. I still did what I was supposed to do as far as being active with some of the guys and help some of the stuff that was going on with them in the system. But at the same time, I was on South Time. This was my first introduction going to this yard in Hazelton was South Time with a still organized organization mindset going into a car with no organization. Feel what I'm saying? So my mentality was a little more militant than theirs going into this yard.
We're in the Dirty South car, right? You talk about someone getting stabbed the first day you're there. Who is it that gets stabbed? White dude, black dude?
It was a black guy from Philly. And you know how when you get to a yard, when you know that next move, the new homies, hey, come to the gym. So going down to the gym, you know what I'm saying, and you see this dude just standing there talking to another dude, and see the beard, you know what I'm saying, and I see another dude with the beard, would just walk up on him and just start stabbing him in the face. And I knew right then, you know, when you first get there, you can't get nobody's going to give you a knife until your paperwork clears. You don't get a knife until your paperwork clears. So when I seen that, the next day I went to the store, bought me 2 locks, and bought me a African Pride. I bought an African Pride. I bought a jar of African Pride. Went straight back to the unit, melted it down, and rolled, make my own knife. And the crazy part about it, I ended up getting caught with it because at that time I didn't know how to tote the knives. I didn't know how to put the slit in front of my boxes and slip it down, and you know what I'm saying, or you got the handle on it. I was just fresh in the pen, know I needed something to try to protect myself. And when the police caught me with it, they laughed at it. Man, they ain't even write me. So I went and told them, hey homie, he just come with some knives. I'm supposed to go to hole or something. They don't supposed to write me nothing. Because I'm trying to make sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? How this work? Because I'm still green at a particular time to, the penitentiary rules setting.
So you seen that dude get stabbed. I mean, I mean, you came from an FCI. They're not really stabbing at that time over there. This is your first stabbing that you see. Does it affect
Right,
you mentally?
right. You like, damn, okay, that's what it is. Like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, I've been to the state before, so but just to see it like that, fresh off the bus, as soon as you get off there, you know what I'm saying, like that fast, you like, damn, okay, this what they said it is. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? That's what that get up 5:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock for the dough pop, out the bed, no take no naps, not allowed to not taking no naps, none of that. This is one of them. And as I because like I said, I was already in an organization, so I was already on that type of militant mentality. This right here just made me, for the violent part, go tighten up and start learning how to play more of a defense and realize that that I'm somewhere where it's really serious. This is what they was talking about.
All becomes real in that moment. Like, yo, they really are stabbing people. They really are killing people at Hazleton.
It get real.
Worst
You
thing you
you hit
seen. Worst thing you seen at Hazleton.
this would let me know I was fucked up when I was in Houston. I seen a dude chasing a dude with a knife, and one of the dude's homeboys just opened up his room door so the dude can run into the door, boop, and the dude can catch him with the knife. When I seen that, I said, "Damn!" It
It
put me
admitted
in.
people in there.
I seen some rough stuff down in Hasty. It was really, and it was fresh off a race ride when I got there as well. So fresh off a race ride, when the doors opened up, everybody, what I'm saying, still politicking, but the for the most part, the respect level still was major, real high. The respect level was real high, but that's kind of like one of the worst things I seen at Hastings as far as that go, because I thought that was real fucked up.
Dude opens the door, dude runs into the door, and then dude jumps on him, just starts gutting him.
Start gutting them. Just start gutting them.
Do
Starts
you think
gutting them.
do you think seeing that type of violence, man, affected you mentally or emotionally at all?
I think it has like it's kind of like once you start getting to that type of stuff, you don't realize how fucked up you is mentally until you're out of that. You don't really know, because sometimes you got to become a product of your environment in order to survive. You know what I'm saying? So you start to become a product of that particular environment, and you start letting it start being natural to you. And you don't realize that you really got a problem until, like I said, you step outside of that and you talk to somebody that never been through that, and they like, what? And you start to realize, damn, maybe that was crazy. And so it basically has like a post-traumatic syndrome type of shit. It's the
For
same
sure.
thing.
You spent 21 years in there. I mean, I mean, I'm sure it affected you in many ways, and
Right.
obviously you didn't realize until you got out.
And that's when when you get out, you know how when you in prison and you got a guy that got a lot of time, you be like, man, I'm short. You know what I'm saying? You like, yeah, you short lunch, how much more you got to go? Shit, I got about 4 more years. You know what I'm saying? So to you, me, that'll sound like a normal conversation. But if you told somebody on the street you short, and they say, "How long you say you finna get out?" You be like, "Shit, I get out like 4 more years." 4 years? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it's crazy. Ain't it crazy that, the normal for us is, oh man, you only got 10, you're good. 10 years. People out here are like 10 years. Holy fuck, 10 years is forever, right?
right. Same thing. That's fucked up. But you don't realize it. That lets you know you don't condition yourself to you have conformed to this particular stuff. And like I said, you adapted it. And you don't even realize it. And that's a real like mental health issue that people really don't even address coming out of prison. They don't even realize that you have post-traumatic stress coming out of prison. Nobody even asks you that.
You're a big old boy, man. You ever have to put in work at all at Hazleton or other prisons?
Of course. Of course. Hasty. Big Sandy. When you first go in, when I get to the pen and I see dude do that, the first thing in my mind, okay, so first person jump out there, I'm gonna make an example out of him. So this gonna set the standard for me for the rest of for duration. I'm gonna lay this one down, and it ought to be smooth sailing from here. And
Go ahead, tell us what you had to do.
so when it's time, it was a time where one of the homies had to get ran up. What happened was I had a homie and somebody stole from out his cell. Now this sounds fucked up, but it's penitentiary rule. Somebody went in his cell and stole from him, and he walked and told the CO to rewind the camera. This is in Hazelton now. He walked and told them people to rewind the camera. So they brought a lieutenant over, wind the camera, and then like 2, 3 in the morning, they come get the person who went to his room. Bam. So when the doors pop, you know what I'm saying, everybody up, because at this particular time, everybody's probably looking like they know a violation happened. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of if you stole from somebody, you had the officer wind the camera. You told him to wind the camera. That's snitching. And the pen, that's considered snitching. So in order for me, some of the homies was like, man, but he stole this stuff. Listen, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna handle this one. I'm going to get this one. You know what I'm saying? And I went against that and I ran that guy up. You know what I'm saying? That was, you know what I'm saying? I had to punish him. You know what I'm saying?
You punched him. Do you have to stab him? Do you have to punch
And I
him,
put
beat
that,
him up?
you come down with that. I put that lock on his helmet. I just put that lock on him. You know what I'm saying? The same lock I had when bought from the commissary.
You start hitting him with the lock. What's he doing? Is he trying to
I went to his job. He worked in commissary. You know what I'm saying? I had some of the homies stand out. I went in the commissary. You know what I'm saying? Got him to come out of the commissary and shit, just start busting him in the head with it. You know what I'm saying? And going to work.
What happens to you after you bust him in the head with the lock? You go to the
Oh,
hole?
I went to the hole, but in Hazen at the time had like a step down shoot where everybody, you can go to this dorm, you know what I'm saying? You stay in there, still got the TV, still got all that. You just separated from population. And I stayed over there for a little bit, and I got out fast. The homeless came and got me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't stay in there that long. Probably like a week or so.
And you talked about the quarter pound of weed earlier. You were a prison hustler. We're going to get into prison hustling in a minute. But why do you end up leaving Hazleton?
Running somebody up. I ran somebody up that one of the the homies. It's always a lot of the first incidents are always the homies. We had a homie that was a rat, and he had been on the yard. He had been on the yard 2 years. He had already been on the yard 2 years, and he was taking care of people. You see what I'm saying? So once you do that, you know how it go. If you know your homie rat and you approve the paperwork and you co-sign them, so that means all y'all got to go, all y'all bad. So once I seen this within the car, I started distancing myself and felt some type of way because we was running like a coalition. This dude was from like North Carolina. And I seen some of the North Carolina people felt some type of way about me running this dude up that was a rat. And I ran both of them up. So they went and turned put SAS on me. And SIS came and got me out the yard and put me under investigation. Me and another homie named Thad from Florida put us in the shoe, and from there, that's how I ended up in Lee County.
Are you hustling at all in Hazleton and just don't get caught?
Oh, yeah, in Hazelton, I was definitely hustling in Hazelton back then because I was fresh off the quarter pound situation in Yazoo, so I couldn't have no visits. So what I started doing is when I learned about the chew. That's when I started seeing the chew, and I was like, "Damn, they make money off that? What the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? Just run the prison, chew, like, oh man. So I had a friend that worked in the back where the councils worked at. You know what I'm saying? Where they keep all these, you know what I'm saying, the bottles with spit in it and all that, and he would pass it to me. You know what I'm saying? Because he stayed in the room next to me, and he'll make the cigarettes up. I watch him cook it, and we was making wine and selling cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? And I made a lot of money.
Tell people how much money's in chew that cops spit in a bottle with their saliva in it, and them dudes are drying it out, reselling it, and they're smoking it. I mean, how much money's involved in that shit?
Man, you can make it's thousands of dollars involved in that. Thousands of dollars. That's probably one of the most fastest products that'll ever sell. They sell faster than everything. The chew. Because you got nicotine is the biggest drug in the world, especially in prison, and one of the most addictive ones. So therefore, man, it's unlimited. That's an unlimited source of income when it comes to chew.
When I was in Lee County, they used to call it black gold. The dude that used to clean up the captain's office and all that shit, he said, "Man, that's that black gold."
And that it was. That it was.
The nastiest shit you could ever do.
People probably wouldn't even believe the amount of money and how many lives can get put on the line behind that spit.
Absolutely.
And that's crazy.
Absolutely disgusting. There's been some wars. There've been some stabbings. People killed over it. People killed over the hug. Yo, man, that's my area. Don't be taking that spit bottle.
My trash can is black. Listen, it's black wheat for the trash can. Mexican wheat. The white guys get a wheat. Every race got a wheat on the trash crew.
Crazy.
That's how serious that was. You know
What
what I'm
about Lee
saying?
County, man? You go to USP Lee, you get over there, you get transferred. What's it like walking into USP Lee?
Boom. I walk into USP Lee. This will feel a little bit more better than Hazelton. It's not as gloomy feeling. It's a little more, we're still on the mountain, but it's more cleaner. It's more brighter looking, has more of an FCI feel to it at this particular time in Lee County.
By a bunch of white folks, right?
Right. And some natives. And you like, damn, this right here, I'm looking at the commissary. I say, ooh, they got everything on the commissary. This commissary here is lovely. You know what I'm saying? They ain't tripping. But the only thing I was like, damn, they own you about that drinking because they had a big native community down there. And you know how the natives get when they get to drinking. So the drinking got you in trouble faster than anything because of the native population. So I didn't know that about natives till I went to the feds.
Yeah, I mean,
How crazy they get on the drink when they get to drinking, how crazy they get.
Get fire water, they start doing all kinds of different things. But anyway, man, you're in Lee County, much better prison. I mean, if you're looking for it, they got it. If you want to get killed over there, you get killed there too.
Right. You can get killed over there if you're looking for it. It's there, but for the most part, this is kind of like more of a laid back yard. You can get you some money. I quickly fell in Lee County, and I started with the marijuana game back again because at this time I got my visits back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm back doing the weed thing. So excuse me, my state in Lee County was pretty good until I got in trouble.
How long were you there hustling before you got in trouble?
I'm gonna say I stayed there for about like 6 months. Probably about 6 months. I had a good 6-month run in Lee County.
You graduate from the marijuana sales to what?
Heroin. When I get there, this is my first. Now I'm dealing heroin because I see the heroin trade here is what makes money and control the yard. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time when you're the dope man on the prison, you know what I'm saying, you basically got influence on the whole yard. And I learned that, from prison to prison, when people see me, the first thing, oh, Freeze on the yard. They know that the economy finna get pumped. So I'm one of them guys that I had women from the street. I fly them in. They'll come see me. They'll come see other inmates, bring the pack in, that type of stuff. And so I was one of them guys, when I floated from yard to yard, wherever yard I hit, people automatically knew that it was going to be some money involved and there's going to be to eat.